From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Colorado author Collin Irish writes science fiction and fantasy. And while his new book includes imaginative storylines set in space, its inspiration came from a more personal place. Collin's writing drew from his work as a volunteer youth mentor. Collin works with some young teens and helps them better understand themselves through the use of storytelling and fairy tales. It's part of a program for young men called Rocky Mountain Rites. That's RITES. His new novel, Messenger, grew out of that mentoring work. It blends fairy tale, fantasy, and science fiction to explore the challenges of growing up in a modern world filled with uncertainty. Collin, who lives in Lakewood, spoke with me about how his experience as a mentor shaped Messenger and his approach to writing. Could you start by just briefly describing how you use storytelling when you mentor young people?
We like to take the youth through emotional development opportunities. They're not really classes, they're more like experiences. What we do is tell stories, and those are open-ended ways to get a discussion going about a topic. And you don't even really have to name the topic. You just let the characters and the images of the story do that for you. And then the youth and even the mentors who participate can, use those images and compare them against their own experience in their own life and come up with their emotional content for those themes.
Okay. Can you give me a brief example?
So one of the introductory stories we use is The Half Boy. And that is from an ancient oral tradition of people in Asia, in this case. And they would tell a story about a boy that was born with only half of what he needed. He had one leg, one arm, one eye, and so forth. And so he was angry about this situation and went into the world looking for something that would satisfy him. And he only found that when he came across the other half boy. And so there's a altercation where they come together, and it's not beautiful and choir singing at this point. It's a fight. It's a wrestling match, actually, in the story.
It's messy.
Yes, it gets messy, but when the boy emerges, he is now whole, but he's not completely used to or integrated with all of these halves that are put together. And so there's a time of confusion, and that story keeps going until he comes across an elder who takes him in and shows him the final steps of integrating his life. I use that to introduce our mentors and our teens as to what we're doing and let them kind of contemplate what they're missing. How do you feel as the half boy in your own story, and what is missing? And then they have to think about, what is missing? Why do I feel angry or sad or fearful? What do I need instead of, what's not there?
What insights from your mentoring made their way into your new novel, Messenger?
So my main character, I used that idea, the being halfway in between things. He's a part of an oppressed society that has two different aspects. One is the oppressed side and one is the oppressors. He's in between. His ancestry is from both sides. And so he's a part of neither. He's an outcast. And so in that place, he has a unique perspective on what is happening in that society.
The plot of your book, Messenger, touches on themes of technology and uncertainty. What lessons do you hope young people will take away from reading Messenger?
Yeah, well, it's a mixture of technologies from the gunpowder age into space opera style inventions. There's a space station which is kind of the headquarters of the antagonist. It orbits around a black hole which causes a time dilation in which every day on the station is a year out in main time. And so they have a perspective on the changes of civilizations and aspects of growth and controlling that growth, by the way. And they use that as a way to take power. And I think one of the main lessons I'd like to have readers come across is that greed is really what is our biggest problem. It's not religion, it's not race, it's not, background or economic situation.
Mhm.
It is the greed that is imposed on us from those who have versus those who have not. That's the theme of the book. And I also, in my opinion, is the problem with the world.
Well, big picture, Colin, how has mentoring changed you as a writer or as a person overall?
Well, I didn't know when I first started mentoring how important the role of mentor is to a young person.
Hmm.
I have kids too, and they're past their teenage years now, but when they were in it, it was rare that they'd ever listen to me. But
That's the truth.
they would listen to a friend of mine
Hmm.
and someone that they thought of as a mentor. So the power of the mentor, I never knew that until I was in it. And of course, I was on the other side too. I was a mentor for some of my colleagues' sons and their daughters. I was the guy that they looked at and said, "Oh, he's so cool. Can't believe my dad says crazy stuff, but he makes so much sense." And we're saying the same thing. So yeah, the power of the mentor was something that I came across while mentoring, in how if you set up trust and you listen without judgment and you don't rescue, but you're there as a support and offer a lot of acceptance, they'll listen to you. They'll take what you have to say and not just dismiss it like I was feeling as a parent for a while there.
I love that insight.
So in the story, I make sure in the story I have several characters that are mentors to the main character. They're not as parents, because that's part of the drama. The parents are unknown or hidden or gone.
Hmm.
But there are a series of mentors that are characters in the book that provide, the twists of the plot and incentives to move on and raise the stakes and so forth.
That's Colorado author Collin Irish, who talked with me about his new sci-fi fantasy novel Messenger and how spending time as a youth mentor shaped his approach to writing this book. We'll have links where you can learn more about the Boulder-based mentoring organization Rocky Mountain Writes, and information on Collin's new book in our show notes and at KUNC.org. By the way, there's still time to get tickets for In The NoCo's first ever live episode happening April 23rd in Fort Collins. This dry, warm winter we're coming out of is stressful for our plants and trees. But not to worry, because we're talking with experts from the CSU Extension about how to deal with insects in your garden, how to shift to more sustainable, drought-tolerant plants, basically how to give your yard a fighting chance this spring and summer. You're invited to join us for this great evening of science and fun, Thursday, April 23rd in Fort Collins. Find details and tickets in our show notes and at KUNC.org. That's it today for In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Thanks so much for listening.